Beyond the jet plane, beyond the atomic bomb, beyond the time machine, and all the scientific marvels of tomorrow, there is Buster Crabbe as Buck Rogers. Thrill as Buck and his sidekick Buddy are discovered after 500 years of suspended animation.
Who is this man called Killer Kane? He is the result of the stupidity of the men of your century.
Chill at the villainy of Killer Kane, the most despicable despot ever to menace the galaxy.
There's no time to lose. We must attack Hidden City immediately.
Cheer as Buck and Buddy join forces with the heroic rebels of the Hidden City.
Is it true that you are revolutionaries?
In a sense, I suppose we are. If it's revolutionary to protest against brutality.
I have had enough.
Shudder at the frightening vision of a futuristic metropolis. Shiver as Buck and Buddy venture alone into Kane's evil domain. Quiver as Buck is forced into one of Kane's mind-robbing robot helmets. Is this Buck Rogers' destiny? To spend the rest of his days as one of Killer Kane's lackeys? No! Gasp as Spunky Space Cadet Wilma Deering defies Kane and dares to rescue Buck. Never before have there been such wonders. Never before such feats. Never before a movie as amazing, as awe-inspiring, as fast and furious as the original Star Warrior, Buck Rogers.
Hey, buddy, you take the controls and keep her as she is. We're headed for the planet Saturn.
Yes, sir. You followed his exploits in the comics. You thrilled to them on the radio. Now, come and see it all on the big screen. Before Star Trek, before Star Wars, there is the original interplanetary adventure film, Buck Rogers.
The Force has always been with us.
Gosh, that's swell.
Come back to Buck Rogers.
Good evening, goblins and ghouls, and welcome to the Wednesday night Scream Stream minisode. I'm your host, Spakenstein, joined as always by my very good friend, Mr. Evan Sink.
Good evening.
How we doing tonight, Evan?
We are great. Great, we're back. I've got a belly full of birthday cake. Doing pretty okay.
Yeah, to our wonderful audience out there, if you didn't know, last week was Evan's birthday. So happy belated birthday, Evan. We didn't tell you. We kept it a secret from you, audience. But now you know. Now if you want to wish him a belated happy birthday, that's okay. That's fine.
Yeah, we had to keep it a secret just to make sure it went off without a hitch.
Mm-hmm. But everything was good, nothing was spoiled. Everything went according to plan. And here he is.
Yeah, I've aged just as planned.
Yep. According to the secret book of aging that Evan has found to try to reverse his age, actually. It is going according to that plan. So the aging.
Yeah, I'm working up a Benjamin Button type thing. I'm just gonna
Mhm.
try to flip it into reverse.
All you need is a magic book. Brody Vandal over on the YouTube chat wishing you happy birthday. And welcome, Brody Vandal. Hope you're doing well tonight, sir. We've been gone for a week. We took Evan's birthday week off, and so give Evan a little bit of time to enjoy. Not have to listen to me talk for hours on end. For 4 hours in a week. Give him that week to decompress a little bit, not have to.
Yeah, not that I don't enjoy watching Whispering Shadow on Wednesdays.
No, well, it's certainly a way to kind of woo-saw a little bit, as we found. It's it's been interesting to follow a mystery for. It's definitely been over 10 weeks. We're on our 10th chapter tonight, but. It was good to have the week off, and so I hope everybody had a good week last week. I hope that you were able to go watch some old episodes over on our YouTube page, or go find some other fun public domain content to get into if we're not here to curate something special for you. There's so much out there, and stuff we've done, stuff we haven't gotten to yet. Stuff we'll never get to.
You can just watch Steamboat Willie on repeat.
If you're so inclined, and I'm sure somebody's gonna make that YouTube video 24 hours of Steamboat Willie.
I think that already exists.
Yeah. So, at the same time, I don't even know. YouTube's copyright claim system I haven't had many problems with it lately, actually. So that's been kind of a good.
Yeah, well, they've been too busy hunting down all the Steamboat Willies.
I guess so. Eyes are off. But no, again, everything we show is public domain anyway. But I've been trying to be better about, okay, if I know something, maybe you'll probably get flagged. Either don't show it on YouTube live or, save it for something else. So, it's smart. Got plenty of time to break into things, and so we're moving right along. I mean, this is our penultimate minisode of season 8. This is our yeah. So we're
almost over.
We've got chapter 10 tonight, but next week we're gonna double up. So. This is the penultimate. I always have trouble saying that word. Penultimate. I've never been able to get that to roll off the tongue. Easy. Screamboat Willie. Has somebody used that yet, Brody Vandal? If that's not the title of one of those public domain Steamboat Willie horror movies that I'm sure are being made. There are dozens of them. So if they haven't used that yet, then they're really missing out. I like that. Okay, and and then on Twitch you got your spam. Spam. That's we'll just start doing when there's spam. We'll just start singing the spam song.
Just get out the Viking helmet.
Yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, that would be perfect. We're looking for more gimmicks to put on this show to just really. Take us down a few notches.
Horns on, ring the bell.
Right, exactly. You just kind of really debase ourselves here. That's what we're looking for. But no, I mean, yeah. What are you gonna do? We've we're season 8 is the end of it is swiftly approaching, and so too is the end of our second year. And so we'll be celebrating our 2-year anniversary at the beginning of next season. But we're, things are,
yeah, that's right. We got another birthday.
We have a birthday. That's right. And coincidentally around the same time as my own birthday. So this is just birthday season. From January to March, it's kind of birthday season for us here on the show. So we're as Evan said, really gonna get full up on cake, get really fat, and then by the time that our spring season rolls around, we're gonna start getting in shape and then
Mhm.
you know, summer, our next summer of schlock, we're gonna be really in great shape.
Yeah,
But
you bulk up, then you burn it off.
right, and part of bulking up early on, eating a whole bunch of birthday cake. So
Yep,
Hmm.
that's that.
yeah, that's how we do
what
it.
My fitness guru tells me.
Yeah, it's
He
okay.
says during the winter you eat just a whole bunch of cake.
It's good for you, technically.
Got eggs. There's
Right.
a little bit of protein in there.
There's some healthy ingredients in there, natural, all natural.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll be celebrating in style, but we're, you know, it's kind of crazy. We watched a lot of stuff over the past 2 years, and so we're wrapping things up here with our 4th serial of the show with the Whispering Shadow, and it's been something, man. We've really had a real mystery on our hands, as the gang like to say back in the day. So, you know, I don't know. It's been different from the other serials we watched, having that mystery to follow week in, week out. And Evan has been diligently on the case.
Yeah. In case anyone needs a refresher, I certainly did this afternoon.
Nice.
We've been away for a couple of weeks, but last time that we were watching, let's see what happened. Jack gets jumped. He loses the jewels. The president has the jewels now, even though he's being very sus about it.
Yeah, that swine. He's definitely he became my number 1 suspect after last chapter.
Yeah. This whole company thing is really just a front.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to launder his jewels through his. What is it, a moving company?
Yeah,
Like a transit company?
you know he's been skimming priceless goods off the top from that company for years, probably. You know, something falls off the truck here or there. Who's gonna really, you got insurance on it, but when it's the Tsar's jewels, kind of hard to cover that up. Not enough insurance money's in the world that's gonna make that situation go away. So you bring in a world famous detective who's actually really terrible at his job, and
hasn't really done a whole lot, to be honest.
he hasn't done a damn thing for being a world famous detective. I mean, he was hanging out with the bat, who I'm thinking is probably the Whispering Shadow the whole time, right under his very nose. And
Yeah, they're gonna say at the very end, "Yep, I was keeping a really close eye on him."
I'll tell you I mean, I'm waiting for him to just kind of end up taking credit for solving the case at the very end. No.
Yeah. Jack has been out here jumping off of vehicles, fighting everyone, getting roughed up, concussed.
Thrown
out of trucks.
Literally, he was practically brain dead at the end of last episode. He had that many concussions.
Well, yeah. And if the concussions weren't enough, where we left Jack, he was in a room full of chlorine gas or some kind of gas.
Really? See, it's that 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I've forgotten the whole cliffhanger.
Yep. Dr. Strang, Bela Lugosi's character, gets captured by the renegade henchman and Jasper Slade, the jewel thief, and they lock him in a mad scientist laboratory for some stupid reason, and he breaks out and does his thing, floods the whole building with gas, and as luck would have it, that's exactly when Jack was running in. So
classic Jack and his terrible timing. It's always picking the worst moments to barge into places, as we've seen. And
It's just always a strategy. Just run straight forward. You head first into danger.
yeah, oh my god, he just has his vertical is just amazing. Never seen anything like it. He just from standing immediately get like 2 feet in the air and then just pounces down on people. He's like a cat. He's definitely got the back legs of a cat. And yeah, the way he falls,
Yeah, I think he's gotten more agile.
Yeah. Well, the question,
he's gotten more agile as the series has gone on.
I would agree with that. The question would be, do cats get concussions? Because that would be where I would
That's a good question. Do you think it's like how cats they always land on their feet?
Mhm.
Maybe their brains do the same thing. You can't really concuss a cat because its brain will just spin around.
Right. It's just got and it just keeps it from getting like actually knocked into things. Yeah, it's got kind of like a stabilization kind of thing going on in there.
It's like a gyroscope in there.
Yeah, gyroscope. Exactly. That's what I'm looking for. Exactly. Yeah, you gotta love it. So I could see that. That would make a lot of sense. We're gonna get down to the bottom of this. We're gonna get a couple test cats, and we're gonna see, how Jack, if he really would have been able to do all this stuff. We're gonna find out. I would tell you the real ticking time bomb that I'm like the powder keg that I'm waiting to go off, that I know isn't gonna go off until the very final chapter. Very final minutes of the final chapter, and I'm waiting for just something to gloriously fuck it up, is the big doofus in the control room solving his puzzle. Because he's been working on that
you think
thing.
That's gonna be the linchpin of this whole thing?
I do. I think that they're gonna end on that terrible joke of him finally solving it, or somebody's gonna stop him right before he solves it, and then that's how they're gonna end the whole damn thing. I'm already calling it here now. It's gonna have that kind of a cheesy ending.
I do think you're right. I really can.
And actually,
visualize that.
Now that I think about it, I have more evidence to support that ending is very plausible, based on some research that I did today about one of the writers for this. So we'll talk about that a little later. We'll talk about that at our break, because this is actually some interesting stuff I learned today. We'll go over that. And of course, we're about to get into chapter 10 of The Whispering Shadow, which is entitled The Death Warrant, which great name for an episode. I mean, kind of reminiscent of Death Wish to me a little bit. Big Death Wish 3 fan over here. But Death Warrant sounds like it could be like a sequel, or like an Italian knockoff from the late 70s.
Yeah,
very plausible.
That's what you tell if the cops show up. You don't let them in. Tell them come back with a death warrant.
You come back with a death warrant, and then I'll let you come in my house. But it's gonna be over the guy's dead body because it's a death warrant. So
right,
terrifying, honestly. Death warrant. So we'll see what that means, what that holds for tonight's episode. I mean, Jack maybe has a death warrant. I don't know. Maybe somebody will die. We haven't had too many characters die, have we?
No, because even the Countess, we thought she died, but they released Dr. Strang from jail because her body disappeared. So maybe she's not even dead.
Probably not. Decoys. Just decoy after decoy after decoy running around.
It's all just wax statues all the way down.
Yeah, they are. And I agree, Brody Vandal. Death Warrant does sound like an 80s metal band. I could see Death Warrant being like having the big old big old hairstyles, hairdos, and
Big old hair, big old guitar.
big old guitar, and their rowdy ways, getting in all kinds of shenanigans and hijinks that would not fly in today's culture. But that's a whole other story. We 80s. It's funny, man. The evolution of music, evolution of movies. We cover it all here on the Scream Stream. One day we'll do. There will be some kind of music offshoot of this. Who knows what that'll look like? But God, I don't even. Public domain music is awful. You don't even want to like all the 1920s stuff, because it's not like the movies where you get the occasional thing from the 70s or or have a fair amount of things from the 60s. It's all back to the 20s. That's like as recent as you can get with sound recordings. So you're definitely kind of limited. Unless somebody just makes their thing public domain. But in terms of what just has fallen into the public domain with music, it's you don't have a wide selection like where I can just do a show on horror movies that are public domain, because there are literally hundreds. I mean, we're closing in on 80 on this show. So yeah, we're about to get into tonight's installment of The Whispering Shadows. Anything before we get into it tonight, Evan?
So Jack and Strang weren't the only people in that house. I think Strang just wins. I think the next two episodes are just going to be complete just filler. Just like
just
like
recapping
greatest hits. Yeah.
Okay, I can see that.
I'm calling it. Everyone in that house is deceased.
Oh,
That's the death warrant.
Ooh, that would be a hell of a death warrant. That would be worth the price of admission right there. Well, we'll see. We'll find out. All right. Well, on that note, Evan, if you have it queued up,
I sure do.
Then we're going to go ahead and get into the exciting beginning of The Whispering Shadow, Chapter 10, The Death Warrant, right now. Dee 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 dee. Yeah, I can't imagine an editor's job on this. It's got to be so difficult trying to like especially when you have to like make clip shows to stretch this thing out a full 12 chapters.
Don't see the Countess up there.
Ooh, she did.
Directs his agents by television, just like us.
Yep. That's how we do it.
Just kidding. Don't pay any attention to the subliminal messages on the show.
Oh no, none at all, none at all. I don't understand how this petty criminal was the first one to get the jewels in the first place. Mysteriously released by the police. Oh.
So we're back here. They've been here before.
Have they?
What?
Oh.
Poison gas.
Oh, that's poison gas? Oh, I thought that was edible gas. That new delicious new diet. Just inhaling gas.
Yeah. Edible gas. It's nutritious.
And delicious. Uh-oh, Jack. How you gonna get out of this jam?
What, he just leaves?
Foster, how did you
Okay.
get in there? Is Strang still in there? No.
Yeah, pretty
Into
much.
the secret panel. Into the hallway.
He just walked out.
We've got to get him now. Stop, or I'll shoot. Drop that gun. Get over there, my boy. Strang's a shadow, all right, or he couldn't have gotten out of that room. Don't you see we're all doomed? Letting young double-cross the shadow?
Uh-oh. Oh my gosh, look at Bela. Run! Look at him. He's cooking it.
Maybe we can square ourselves with the shadow by
He's
taking
looking.
care of these two. Don't shoot. Wait.
He's hiding behind Jack.
Shadow.
Turn around, smart guys. Got those guns.
He just hop in through the window.
I'll get over there, Foster. Now keep your faces glued to that wall if you know what's good for you. You too, Foster.
You know Jack and keeping his face glued. He's about to just pounce. Pounce right out that window.
It's gonna leak through that window.
Like on.
Nice. Scrapping and scrapping and fighting and scrapping. Oh. I'm gonna jump off the table right in front of you, not on top of you. That would be dangerous.
Well, you can't do that. That's Jack's move.
That is
Only
Jack's
he's
move.
allowed.
That's
The only way
true.
that Frank can harm anybody is with his radio death ray.
I threw my radio disc away. But you can't escape that man. He's a monster.
Monster, huh? And why hasn't he killed me? I give him plenty of reasons to that time out at Jerome's. When I had Jerome in a corner and I knew the jewels were in that bag. You tell me where you hid him, or
Remember when this happened?
I love that.
I'm not wasting any more time on you, Jerome. You'll tell me. Not a peep out of you.
Is Jerome dead? Or is he just missing from the story?
Fire!
I don't think he's dead. I don't really remember.
Isn't he the czar?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, he was the missing Tsar.
Uh-oh.
Father! Never mind me. He has got the jewels.
Turned out that Jerome tricked us both. If Strang is as powerful as you think he is, wouldn't he have finished me off after that? You've nothing to be afraid of.
All right. I'll get the jewels. If you'll trail along behind me.
And if Strang shows up, it'll be just too bad for him.
Just too bad.
Father, I've been worried about you. been?
I went to the rookery.
Father, everyone's beginning to believe that you are the Whispering Shadow.
Now I suppose you are beginning to suspect me.
No, I'm not. But Jack Foster suspects.
Foster! Well, let me tell you, that young man has interfered with my plans for the last time.
You know, when he throws his hand down like that, he's serious.
You must act at once. Young is on his way to get the jewels. Bradley has them at the warehouse. And if Jack Foster interferes, stop at nothing to get rid of him.
Uh-oh.
You weren't supposed to hear that.
Boop.
But I swear I'm not the Shadow.
I promise I'm not.
Yes, Mr. Jerome. I will get him right away.
No, there's Jerome.
Calling truck 42. Calling truck 42. Hello, Tom. Say, Mr. Jerome wants to know if you can...
Oh. Steinbeck up to no good.
I don't know. He must be dead.
Where's Steinbeck?
He's in his research room.
He's researching how to break this radio.
Now what have you done, Steinbeck?
He just looks immediately guilty coming out of that room.
What have I done? If you'd stay out of this radio room, we might not have so much trouble.
I've had enough of your insults, Steinbeck. I'm going to take this up with Mr. Bradley at once. This isn't the first time this has happened.
Aren't you letting your personal feelings sway you, Jerome?
Not at all. I just questioned Sparks, and he told me that on the night the Shadow's men attacked the warehouse, he was in the radio room and...
My shipment. Okay, 34, that is all. Calling truck 42. Calling truck 42.
Oh.
Hey, boss! He's gone dead again!
I thought I told you not to interrupt me.
What is that same interference? The Whispering Shadow. Shall I call Mr. Raymond?
No use
The
alarming anybody.
Whispering
Nobody
Shadow.
else
Is this flashback?
will. Sounds to me like trouble with the aerial.
I think so.
Get up on the roof and take a look at it.
This is
Yes, sir.
it's pretty early. I think this is maybe the first or second episode.
Okay. Let's take a break right here. I'm at 10:30. I should have stopped before this flashback. I didn't realize how long of a flashback that was going to be.
Yeah.
That was starting to go on for a little bit. So we'll break it right there. That was the exciting beginning of chapter 10 of The Whispering Shadow, The Death Warrant. What do we think so far, Evan?
I think that they are getting a lot of mileage out of this, first episode.
Yeah, out of just reusing the clips from the first.
We've
Yeah,
got another flashback episode. That's
it feels like it's been a while, right? Like,
yeah, we've been on a pretty good track, I think, of not having too many, but they're mixed in. What can you
yeah,
do?
yeah, and it is kind of confusing that they don't have a set like style for how they indicate a flashback. As let's see, was that Fresh Rogan over on YouTube said, I thought flashbacks had the harp music and a warp effect, and that would actually really come in handy in this scenario,
a lot.
because they're using wipes sometimes, but then other times they're using fades, and I feel like there have been occasions where they've just cut like in the middle of a conversation, and I haven't even known that we were in a flashback. So
Yeah,
it's
well, I will say, I appreciate that they're at least making the flashbacks black and white, so that it's in the past.
right. Yeah, well, that's true. I guess that is a nice little indication. And welcome, Fresh Rogan. Forgot to say. Oh, I'm glad to see you over in the YouTube chat. Yeah, it's when you've got like 25% of your 3-hour serial that is just flashback, it's kind of can be a little frustrating, just a little bit. I mean, I feel like I don't think any of the other serials that we watched really relied on flashbacks, did they? Not like
I don't
heavily.
think so. I mean, they definitely had their own forms of filler. but
Right.
I don't really know what's better.
It's true. Yeah, would you rather just see a bunch of guys in fedoras run around the same stretch of highway just slightly differently, or do you want a refresher?
Another car chase or another flashback?
Do you want a refresher of the really cool cliffhanger that you got at the beginning of chapter 1? And that's the thing. If it was all cliffhangers, it would be okay. But that's the other thing is I will say the downside of this serial to me is that it hasn't had the best cliffhangers when you compare it to some of the other ones that we've watched.
Yeah, they've been a little limp.
They have. And I mean, especially the way that they retcon them, the way that Jack gets out of them. I mean, this one in tonight's episode was pretty absurd. Just
he was barely phased.
Just walked right out of the door, face to face with the henchman, who fumbled the bag right away, as they are wont to do. We went on a whole diatribe about how hard it is to find good henchmen. I think last episode. I think we've on multiple episodes we've harped on this point. It is very difficult to find good henchmen if you're a villain, and they obviously just kind of did a terrible job right there. So what are you going to do? They're trying to redeem themselves now, but I mean, does Strang have the jewels? Is that everybody zeroing in on Strang?
Well, I thought the president still has the jewels.
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot.
Really focused on Strang, I guess, because he was in custody and everyone still just thinks he's the guy. But
yeah, you're 100% right. I totally forgot.
We've said this before, but even if he's not the Shadow, Strang is so clearly up to something. I mean, I don't even know that it really matters.
No, it's again, I'm expecting to be let down in the very final minutes where they find some way to excuse all his suspicious behavior with just like a sentence. Oh, that was because blah 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 blah.
He was a good guy the whole time.
Yeah, essentially. Not ready for that, but I know that's what's gonna happen. And yeah, Fresh. I mean, it's I think it was the Phantom Creeps that was like that, where it seemed like they just slightly changed the camera angle every car chase or every time people were running around between the 3 different locations that were used the entire time. Here, yeah, you're just getting a bunch of recycled footage from prior episodes. So it's we were due for another one of these. We knew coming in there were a lot of these clip shows. So I think so far Evan's prediction is proving to be correct. This will probably be mostly this, and the next chapter will probably be mostly clips of things we've already seen.
Man, I hope the last episode isn't. Surely not.
Surely not. We'll see. I'm holding out hope. I mean, they've got a few plot lines they've got to wrap up. It's, you know, there's a few different threads. It's not just who's the shadow, but I feel like there's a few other things they got to kind of get in order. So we'll see. We'll see what they do. We'll see what so I guess now, what is, like, who are the Shadow's henchmen even going after right now? Are they going after Strang because they think he has the jewels?
I think so.
Okay. And Jack is just somewhere.
I think they're trying to like take the Shadow out because they're afraid that he's gonna take them out because they double crossed him.
Okay, that's right. That's right. Everybody's getting a little antsy. Yeah, that's understandable. You know,
every henchman for themselves.
Yeah, it does feel like we're at that point. Yeah, I feel like every serial, once you start getting later into it, the henchmen just start jumping off the boat, you know? Yeah, like you said, every man for himself. So we'll see. We'll see how this works out for them. Probably not pretty good if they've all got fucking radio death discs in their belts, which they probably do, or in the bottoms of their shoes, or maybe like in the lining of their hat somewhere, you know. I feel like back in the day when people used to wear a
crown on their tooth or something.
Yeah, when people used to wear a lot of clothes and a lot of accessories, it probably would have been easier to hide like a death disc on them, you know. More places to.
Yeah.
You know, nowadays people, you're not gonna hide a death disc on me and my gym shorts and my tank top, and good luck.
Yeah, nowadays people just don't wear clothes. So
that's right.
Good luck.
Good luck planting your death disc on me, henchman. So we'll see. I'm not thinking this is gonna work out for the Whispering Shadows men, but who knows? We'll find out. We are, you know, I mean, I think with all these serials, what we've learned is that it's hard to write something that's got to go on for 12 chapters, right? It's hard. What is it? 12 chapters. Each one's about 20 minutes. What is that? 4 hours? About? Something like that. So trying to write 4 hours worth of story. I mean, now we know with storytelling, serialized storytelling on TV the way it is nowadays, it's, you know, a whole art form in and of itself. But back in the day, they were trying to find all kinds of workarounds to not have to write a complex or twisty story. Let's just have the same thing happen over and over again. And, you know, let's not make it too complicated. And I don't know. It's you know, flashbacks as we've seen are one way to work around telling a, you know, action-packed story. But all these serials kind of, you know, I think later as television started becoming a thing, they were still making serials. So I think the serials tried to kind of up their game in terms of story quality and writing, but I don't think they were able to get there. I mean, it's hard. But all the people that worked on the serial, in terms of like writing, directing, they pretty much worked in serials through to the 50s, which was kind of around the time that serials fell out of vogue, was around the early to mid 50s, again, television. And one of the writers for tonight's, or for this season's serial, Barney Surecki, he worked in serials from the early 30s all the way through to the end. He wrote a bunch, but he was also an associate producer on a whole bunch. So he did some of the other majestic or mascot serials that we've talked about. I think he did one of the Ren 1010 ones. I don't know if he did any Rex the Wonder Horse.
Nice.
But
nice.
yeah, he wrote a good number of the mascot serials, and then went on to help with some serials for Universal. Again, during our pre-roll, we saw a trailer for the serial Buck Rogers, which Sareki, I think he was a associate producer for that. And then he ended up also, actually before Buck Rogers, produced one of the Flash Gordon serials over at Universal. The one before the one that we watched, that would be, I think it's Flash Gordon's Trip to Mars. So that's going to be the first trailer that we're going to see. Flash Gordon's Trip to Mars. It's a fun little, we love Flash Gordon. We love Ming, of course. We'll see plenty of Ming. Don't worry. We've missed Ming. It's been a long time. So get to say
Sounds like a travel vlog. Just having a lovely little trip to Mars.
Trip to Mars. Yeah, it does. It does sound like a little travel log, but when it's Flash Gordon, you're gonna be fighting and brawling and shooting death rays and all kinds of fun stuff. So, again, I mean, even Flash Gordon is like, it's a serial. It's par for the course in a lot of ways, but in other ways, it's just got some fun elements. So, but Sareki, is funny, in the 40s, he actually spent time over at one of the Poverty Row studios, Monogram, and teamed up with, I guess reteamed with the star of tonight's or this season's serial, Bela Lugosi, on some of the Monogram films that Lugosi did over there. The most notable being The Ape Man, which Sareki wrote. Actually, that was he was an associate producer for a few of those, maybe like 7 of those Lugosi movies at Monogram, and then actually wrote The Ape Man, which, as we know, not one of the better ones, but A1. And but yeah,
I don't remember that many flashbacks in that movie, I will say that.
No, that's true. They laid off on the flashbacks for that one. But I think he actually did the most recent Lugosi movie we watched on this show, The Corpse Vanishes. I think he was a producer for that. And so, interesting that he teamed back up with Lugosi about 10 years after this. But even after that, he went on to continue in serials. So the second trailer we're going to see is for a serial that he did, which I think we've seen the trailer before. I don't know if we've watched it again this season. I'm afraid I might have shown it a few weeks ago. So let me know if we did see this one. But it's entitled The Purple Monster Strikes. So we have seen it in the past.
That sounds familiar.
It sounds familiar. Well, we might have, whether it was recently or a long time ago, I'm not quite sure.
We'll enjoy it again.
Yeah, well, we will. We do. It is a fun trailer. Any villain that calls himself the Purple Monster, there's something kind of like, all I can picture is like Grimace, like I would love a whole serial set around Grimace as your villain, who wouldn't want to see that? The McDonald's is really missing out on an opportunity there.
Oh yeah, I'm waiting for the gritty HBO McDonald's reboot.
Oh my gosh, yeah, could you imagine all the characters? That could get really intense. That's I don't know. I mean, And yeah, Brody Vandal, that's right. Yeah, and the eggplant emoji is that's definitely what when I thought of when I was watching this trailer earlier, and the villains is they call me the purple monster. I'm like, okay, you could hear that line in a porno for sure, and it could still translate over. Maybe Flesh Gordon. Maybe they use that in Flesh Gordon. Which we call back to our Flash Gordon season. But we're going to enjoy these serial trailers. And then when we come back, we'll get into the exciting conclusion of Chapter 10 of The Whispering Shadows. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Happy, you and Dale get back in there out of range. We'll try to hold them off.
Hurry before they get through.
The clay in that wall, it seemed to come to life. It turned into a man and then it ran back into the shadows.
Oh, don't be silly. It's one of the Death Squadron right on our tail.
Man the gun, Flash. I'll try and get him into position for you. You got him, Flash. Direct hit.
But the Clay King has told Flash Gordon the secret of your power.
The secret of my power? He wouldn't dare. Where are you taking me?
To the Clay people. Look, Doc, we're heading straight into the beam.
Phantom killer from Mars comes to organize a gang of Earthmen to kill our leading scientists and to steal their plans.
Who? What are you? I'm known as the Purple Monster, the forerunner of a great army from the planet Mars, which will soon swarm over your world and conquer it. I want you to aid me in assembling material for my jet plane.
Dr. Cyrus Layton, leading rocket scientist, his niece Sheila, and Craig Foster plan to capture the Purple Monster and bring him to justice.
Now, these are the 4 highways in the region of Flint Canyon where the cars have been destroyed. As you see, they form a rectangle. Whoever's responsible for these crimes must be operating within this area.
Well, that's an interesting theory, but how can you prove it?
I'm going to drive through that section and see what happens. We'll contact you later, Doctor.
All right, Craig.
That's enough work for today. Let that down. All right, turn around, both of you.
And we are back. So those are the trailers for Flash Gordon's Trip to Mars and The Purple Monster Strikes. And, you know, with the Flash Gordon trailer there, obviously you saw classic Flash Gordon. You got the, as Evan noted, you've got the fashion, of course. As Brody Vandal noted in the chat, the model work. You gotta love the spaceships and the, you know, I mean, definitely
special effects.
Yeah, you gotta love the way that they went in on the special effects and Flash Gordon. I mean, I would say that I've been pretty wowed by most of the special effects in all these serials. I'd say that the Whispering Shadows is probably where I've been the least, you know, like, impressed.
Yeah, they haven't really been going for, you know, special effects, model work, you know, the stuff we usually see out of these serials in this one.
Yeah, with this, it's been a little more of a focus on the fighting or the, you know, chase sequences or the action sequences, and less so on big effects. And, I mean, again, this is 1933. The other serials that we've watched, I mean, Undersea Kingdom was 2 years later, and even in that 2 years, film advanced by leaps, and Hollywood filmmaking especially advanced by leaps and bounds in just between 1933 and 1935. So it's kind of, it's a little bit of an unfair comparison, and especially when you're looking at Mascot, who was like, you know, even below Universal in terms of the resources, which again, Universal, everybody looks at them now as, you know, this kind of classic studio, but they weren't considered one of the big studios. They were considered a minor studio, but they were also weren't Poverty Row either. So that's where they kind of, they got lucky. They didn't get stuck with that moniker, but Mascot definitely was considered Poverty Row. So I can understand why we're maybe not getting the best model work or the best cliffhangers, but in other aspects, it is on par, if not exceeding some of the other serials that we watch. Everyone's got their strengths and weaknesses, you know? And I mean, so far, if anything, this has kept us engaged in trying to solve this damn mystery, you know? Who is the Whispering Shadow? And, yeah, again, my money's gonna be on.
Who is the Purple Monster?
Who is the Purple Monster? Yeah, that's. I don't think that's public domain, so we'll never know.
Call me the Purple Monster.
Oh God, I don't want to know why they call you that. No, we're gonna see. We're gonna find out just what's going on with this mystery, who's behind this. But again, if we're nailing down our suspects, I'm gonna say all my money's on Jerome. I don't know if your top suspect differs from mine, Evan.
Is it Jerome or is it Bradley?
Bradley. I get them mixed up. Vice President, President.
President, Vice President.
Bradley. I think it's Bradley. Bradley is my number one suspect. Thank you. Are you also with Bradley?
Probably. Yeah. I really want to know where they're going with Drang. Like, is he just also going to be a villain? Is he gonna be like, is he gonna work for, like, is he gonna be like an FBI guy or something?
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm terrified of. Terrified of, or it's all a dream in the head of the puzzle guy, the radio operator solving the puzzle. That's what it's gonna be. One of those big twist endings. So
yeah, he solves the puzzle,
and then he wakes up. It was all a dream. Why would the Tsar's jewels be here of all places, you fool? Who do you think you are, Forrest Gump? Do you think that all of a sudden, when you're just one day, you're just crossing paths with the most enigmatic people in the world? What kind of fantasy world do you live in? Fresh Rogan. Yeah, see, Fresh knows. As someone who's very frustrated by some of the I mean, Fresh watched Flash Gordon and some of the other serials he sat through. So yeah, that's when they'll employ the harp effect. That's right, Fresh. At the very end, that's how you know. It's just a dream. Hey, I'm here for it. We'll see. We still got time. We're on chapter 10. So got one more episode. Technically 2 chapters, but 1 minisode. So, and we've still got to find out just who this death warrant is for. I want to know whose name on it and the judge that signed it. And I want to know if this is all legal, or is Robert Raymond gonna just fly in here trying to serve a death warrant with no jurisdiction? What jurisdiction is he operating under? He's just been hired by Jerome or Bradley.
He's world famous. He's his jurisdiction is everywhere.
If you're a world famous detective, can you just go anywhere you please, investigate whatever you want, whatever your hunches lead you? Like, you think Sherlock Holmes was just allowed after a certain point to just follow whatever kind of? He's just some
like James Bond. He's got, instead of a license to kill, he's got a license to investigate.
Just some odd interaction in the street. Next thing you know, he's like following you around, barging into your home, demanding to know what you're hiding in your pantry. I don't know.
I don't need a warrant. I'm a world famous detective.
I saw the crumbs on your jacket. Let me into your pantry. I don't know. Sherlock Holmes could probably get away with it, but Robert Raymond, so far, I don't even know what big cases he's supposed to be responsible for solving. I don't think we got any kind of resume on him in the first chapter. So that's what we need in the flashbacks. We need to be enlightened on. But again, that's like serialized storytelling of today, where episode 6 of this limited series is going to all of a sudden delve into the backstory of the detective that you really haven't gotten to know for most of the episodes. Yep. And all of a sudden, episode 6, you're seeing the big case he solved and why he became the person that he... they just weren't that...
That's when you play the harp.
Yes, right, exactly. That's when the harp comes in. We'll be ready for it. If a harp comes in at the end, I'm going to crap my pants. I'll do it. I will just do it. As a gift to you, Fresh. But we'll see. We're not quite there yet. So, anything before we get into the exciting conclusion of tonight's chapter, Evan?
You know, based on the action that we saw in that trailer, I think they probably should have called that movie "The Purple Monster Gets Struck."
Yeah, it did seem like he wasn't really... I don't really want if my Martian has to work with a guy in a fedora, he's probably not a very effectual Martian, you know? I don't think I'm going to be very afraid of him if he's got to work with gangsters to pull off whatever plan he's, you know? At least Plan 9 from Outer Space, they're working with zombies, you know?
Yeah, it's better than
working with the mob.
Got to round up some henchmen, some common criminals.
I mean, come on, like I don't know. It's definitely you know, classic serials. You got to have your guys in fedoras. It was a requirement back then. On that note, Evan, if you have it queued up.
I do.
All right, then we are going to go ahead and get into the exciting conclusion of The Whispering Shadow, Chapter 10, right now.
And don't go locking yourself out on the roof again.
You dingus.
They skipped the best part where he almost locks himself out on the roof again.
I was waiting for it. I totally... I'm glad they did that bit. Is this all chapter 1?
Yes. It is, yeah. When the henchmen, the Whispering Shadows henchmen were a lot more capable, or they at least came off as a lot more capable in the first episode. They fly in on this, like, helicopter plane thing.
It's a power move. Yeah, and then now what have they done for 9 chapters after that? Fucking sit in a room and fucking worry about...
Cower.
Yeah, cower, that's the word.
Don't you see? Steinbeck arranged all this so that the Shadows men could get into the warehouse and steal the jewels. They would have got away with them, too, if it hadn't been for Jack Foster.
Damn you, Jack Foster. Oh shit.
Yeah, so they make a strong first impression, but to be fair, they do immediately crash the helicopter.
Shadow, or he's working with him.
And did Jack just land on the pavement after falling off that building?
I'll investigate Steinbeck.
You'll find out that I was right.
He's a cat. He always lands on his feet.
We did establish this at the beginning of tonight's episode. I forgot.
Hello?
I've got to see Mr. Faulkner right away.
Mr. Foster's not in. We expect him back. Would you care to wait?
No. I'll come back.
I mean, Jack does
Can you
have
tell me
9
where Mr.
lives.
Bradley's office is?
Straight down the corridor.
He's used a few.
He
Of course,
definitely
it's
has.
here.
I'll be right down.
Please tell me this is not flashback, right? I mean, Vera Strang has definitely snooped around in a few other
Don't
episodes.
make a sound, Bradley. You're taking me back to your office.
Here we go. Okay, this is good. He doesn't really have a gun in his
What do you
pocket.
want? I'll relieve you of those jewels now,
That's
Bradley.
just your finger.
I haven't any jewels. Unless you mean...
You know what I mean. I saw you take those jewels from Foster after we knocked him cold. Where are they?
Nice.
In a safe deposit vault. In the security trust.
Then I'll trouble you for the key. Now, write an order to the trust company saying that you're sending me to get something out of the box for you. It's no use, Bradley. You're licked and you know it. Now turn around. This is just to make sure that you don't call for help after I leave. Now put your hands behind your back.
Oh, here we go. Jumping Jack.
Jumping into action. Oh, no. He's in the wrong place.
Oh, damn it. Of course he is. Is he gonna go scrap with Strang for a little bit? This is to warn Jack Foster?
Yeah.
I would immediately be like looking over my shoulder if I saw a letter saying that somebody was coming to warn me.
Slip up that fire escape.
Now get over to that closet.
Maybe he's not the Whispering
Well,
Shadow.
The Whispering Shadow's daughter.
My father is not the Whispering Shadow.
Oh, no? Well, we'll see if he tries to do anything to me while you're with me. Get in there, Bradley.
I love how she has a parallel catchphrase to Jack. My father is not the Whispering Shadow. And the Whispering Shadow killed my brother.
That's not the way out. We're leaving by the fire escape.
You are mistaken, young. You are not going to leave this building alive.
You can't kill me with your death ray because the radio disc isn't on.
I have other ways of dealing with traitors.
I've got your daughter here, and if... Get out onto the fire escape.
That's just what he wants you to do. Oh.
We'll have to go out through the hall. Don't try any of your tricks.
What tricks? What is she gonna do?
Vera, known for her tricks.
Gonna pull a rabbit out of her little hat?
Get your father on the phone. I'm not
Her
going to let him
beret.
get away with this. Is there anyone here looking for me?
Yes, a young lady. I think she's gone to Mr. Bradley's office.
There's no answer.
Uh-oh.
Stop. If you pass through that window,
Closing
you
in.
sign the death warrant of the Shadow's daughter.
The death warrant. There it is. He said it.
He said it.
Oh, shit.
Let's call his bluff.
What? Wow. That was the abrupt conclusion of The Whispering Shadow Chapter 10. Wow. The whiplash-inducing conclusion of Chapter 10.
Very,
What do we think, Evan?
very quick. Oh my gosh.
I mean,
I really like these henchmen, man.
they're fools.
Don't come in here. I'm gonna kill her.
Let's chance it.
Let's call his bluff. Maybe he'll miss.
These fucking guys, dude. Well, I mean, again, where do these henchmen come from? Like, who just decides that they're gonna be a henchman, right? Right, Fresh. I 100% agree with you. Soprano writers, anybody that's working on any kind of organized crime piece nowadays, take note from these henchmen in these old serials. If you wanna learn how it's done, you wanna see a real goon squad of henchmen, you go watch any old serial. You're gonna find plenty. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think Vera got shot, but who
Probably
did?
not.
young, I guess.
I guess probably, yeah. Because even if he did shoot her, it wouldn't really benefit him in any way.
No. And again, if Strang isn't the Whispering Shadow, then the Whispering Shadow doesn't have a daughter. You know, like the fact that nobody knows who the Shadow is, especially if you're a henchman's got to make it difficult, you know? But I will say the biggest thing about tonight's episode is that now I'm not so sure about Bradley anymore being my number one suspect.
I mean, it still could possibly be him.
I mean,
if he somehow managed to throw his voice from that closet he was stuffed into.
But wasn't he bound and gagged? Did he have a gag in his mouth?
Yeah, but maybe the Whispering Shadow. I could think he could maybe escape something like that.
I mean, yeah, so you think that the Whispering Shadow, on top of just having a beautiful voice and amazing radio death ray capabilities, also has some kind of like Harry Houdini like talent of like escaping from straitjackets and knotted
I
ropes.
think so.
And,
I mean,
okay.
To be fair, Strang did in the last episode.
It's very true. It's a good point.
That.
I guess we can't rule it out. Can't rule anything out in these serials. But I mean, I gotta say, he was all tied up. They stuffed him into a closet, and then we saw the Whispering shadow appear. And
who's left though? If it's not, we don't think it's Jerome. Don't think it's Bradley. Probably not Strang.
Well, let's say that it's not that we don't think it's Bradley. It's that Bradley just seems a little less likely of a suspect. Let's not rule him out completely. Let's just say he seems less likely of a suspect.
Yeah.
But
kind of running out of suspects though.
We are. I would say that the real left field surprising one that it's probably isn't it, but if they really want to go for some left field, I say it's somehow Robert Raymond. Don't ask me how.
No.
But you said
that would be it.
You said Steinbeck though, so I mean, yeah, I think he's a pretty. He's an acceptable candidate, but he almost seems too obvious. Him and Lugosi seem too obvious, right?
Yeah,
We've seen them in their radio rooms when the Whispering Shadow is communicating to people. So it's like, all right, well then one of them has to be the Shadow, or they're just trying to kind of misdirect us a little bit, which is what I think. So I don't know. We really need to have some kind of like odds pool going. I saw this great graphic on X earlier this week of I don't know if it was for the news or for some kind of poll that was taken whenever they were doing the end of or not the end, whenever they were revealing the killer on Twin Peaks. And they had like a pool, like a percentage. I guess they did a poll and a percentage of like who everybody like, the suspects and how many people like thought they were guilty, and nobody was close. Like the culprit was far down the list, like 3%, whereas other people had like.
Do that? Can we have an X poll?
I think that we should, which. I'm going to go ahead and say
Who is the Whispering Shadow?
As we start getting into our next season, I want to start incorporating polls more in the show. But I think for this purpose, especially for this mystery, I think what we'll do is we'll put a poll up on YouTube, and we'll keep it going through next Wednesday. And it'll be Who do you think the Whispering Shadow is? That's the poll question. Who do you think the Whispering Shadow is? And we'll put a list of likely suspects, and
Steamboat Willie.
Steamboat Willie could be if you want to write him in, I think maybe there's some long shot odds that it's a possibility. Maybe I just I what I'll do is I'll bet on those long shot odds, and then I'll re-edit the episode so that it seems like Steamboat Willie is the Whispering Shadow, and then I'll take advantage of the bet. I'll win, and then I'll have schemed the system. Even though I just told everybody all my plan, I'm still gonna do it.
Sound is
right.
Every time you hear the Whispering Shadow, there's that kind of whirring noise. That's just the steamboat powering down.
Exactly. Don't be alarmed. It's just the steamboat. So yeah, we'll put up a poll, and we want to hear from you guys. Definitely when we put that up, vote obviously, but comment. Let us know who's your top suspects. Why? What's whether it's a legitimate reason or there's just something you don't like about him. Again, Robert Raymond, there's no legitimate reason why he should be a suspect, but it's a possibility. Can't rule him out. So
he's a world famous detective. He's so famous because he's been manipulating things the whole time.
Yeah, he's been doing a damn good job of it.
So good at covering his tracks.
So I don't know if I can definitively say one now that I'd vote for. Because I am really kind of now off of I was gonna say Jerome again, Bradley. I'm not as confident about Bradley, so I don't know. Is Steinbeck your number one choice?
Are we voting for who we think it is or who we want it to be?
Let's see who we think it is. But I do want to know who you want it to be. I would also like to know that.
I'm gonna have to think about it. About it.
Do you have to think about who you want it to be, or can you tell us that now?
I like the idea of it being Raymond. I think this whole time I want it to be Vera. I think that would be.
I was just really thinking that would be like cool, but I can't reconcile it with her like being in the next room while the shadows.
Yeah, doesn't.
She's been around too many times when the voice has been going. So, but I was thinking the same thing. Man, it'd be really wild if it was her. I was like, I can't be her. So it's
because they keep saying, "Oh, my dad's not the Whispering Shadow." But she never said, "I'm not the Whispering
That's true. Shadow." Maybe they're gonna fool us all, and it's gonna be the radio operator. Maybe it was him the whole time. I don't know. I will say the mystery's kind of heating up just in time for our final episode, final mini-sode. So I'm excited. We'll get this poll going. We'll see what everybody's thinking, and all will be revealed on Wednesday.
Make sure to contribute.
Yep. Go. It'll be on YouTube, so go vote. Let us know what you think, and sound off, and we'll have the big results will be in next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. So you'll be able to join us for.
Yeah, you find it on DraftKings.
That's right. Sports betting is legal now where we're located, so I think this counts. I think this falls into that. This is a sport, right? Movie watching, it's an endurance sport. This show is if you're sitting through this show, that counts as an endurance sport. You are enduring a lot. We appreciate a wonderful audience out there. Just enduring and enjoying it. And so, season 8 mini-sode finale next Friday, and of course, the penultimate feature presentation of season 8 is this Friday at 9 p.m. We're going to be watching Son of Ngagi, And it's kind of a rare treat. It's not a movie that's really seen or talked about very much. I've never seen it. And we're watching this because it's actually in kind of honor of Black History Month. This is the first horror film with an all-black cast. So it's kind of a history-making horror film. And I've been wanting to see it for a while, but I was waiting for, the right time to show it on this show. So I think we're there. So, it looks, from what I've seen, what I have read about it, it looks interesting. I mean, obviously, it's an indie horror film from the 40s, which is basically all of Poverty Row. This isn't quite a Poverty Row film because it was produced outside of Hollywood, I believe, but it's made under the same conditions, right? So, it should be pretty on par with those Monogram and PRC horror films that we've seen on this show. But it's just gonna be a whole kind of history making film just because of its cast and its writers. But we'll get into all of that on Friday. And of course, as always, Evan brings us a delicious cocktail to pair with the evening's film and a little segment which we call...
were you drinking?
What are we going to be drinking this Friday, Evan?
Well, I think this month I'm going to try to find some sourced from Africa drinks to tie in. You kind of celebrate Black History Month, and what we have this Friday, this is the national drink of Kenya. It's called dawa, which is Swahili, and we'll talk about that on Friday. But this seems like a pretty interesting one. It is 2 ounces of vodka, a teaspoon of honey, teaspoon of brown sugar, and a muddled lime cut into quarters. Okay. So we've got our sweet, we've got our citrus.
Yeah, my goodness.
We had a honey drink earlier. I can't say, maybe earlier this season, earlier this year. Yeah, the first one of this year. So still on that honey kick.
Okay, nice.
We
Very
should
good.
have a little bit of a different profile. I think the last one was it was a lemon.
Right.
It was lemon and bourbon and honey. This one is vodka and lime.
Vodka and lime. Very nice. Well, that'll be good. I'm excited for that. Sounds like a nice little kind of sweet and sour cocktail mixed with the film. So it'll be exciting. I'm very much looking forward to that. So you guys can catch that over on Twitch and YouTube this Friday at 9 p.m. The last movie that we watched, we did not broadcast on YouTube. That was Snow Beast, because it was definitely gonna get copyright claimed if we showed it live. It'll be uploaded soon enough. But next week, this Friday's film is gonna be fine. So we'll be back on YouTube this Friday with our feature presentation and the Saturday night shockers, of course, and all that good stuff that everybody loves. So getting right into it. And before we know it, I mean, next week we'll be concluding season 8, and then we'll have more time off. We'll have a few weeks off, and we may do like a one-off thing one of those weeks. We haven't done Wheel of Movies in a while.
Yeah, we could throw a Wheel of Movies.
We might break out another game of Wheel of Movies. Might play around with that a little bit. Maybe, I don't know, tweak the formula. I don't know. It was an experiment last time, and it was fun. So we'll see. We'll see what later February brings us. But for now, just chugging right along through things. So thanks everybody so much for watching tonight. Of course, over in the chat, we've got Brody Vandal and Fresh Rogan. Thank you guys for watching and tuning in and chatting it up and making us chuckle and laugh, have a good time. That's what it's all about. And of course, if you want to go catch up on any past installments of The Whispering Shadow or any of our past feature presentations, you can go find those over on our YouTube page. We're over there at Screamstream Live. Of course, if you want to follow us over on the socials, you want to find the recipe for the cocktail, you can go find that over on our Instagram page. We're over there at Screamstream Show, also on X and TikTok at Screamstream Show. And trying to, as we get through this month and next month, trying to get the content kind of picked up on our social platforms, trying to be a little more active. I'm in the planning stages of all that right now, kind of getting my S together to try to really kind of bring more stuff for everybody to kind of interact with, get involved with. So and of course, if you want to follow us on our social pages, you can find me over on X at Spakenstein, and of course Mr. Evan Sink is on Instagram and X at Caligari Cursed. Again, thanks so much tonight, boys, for watching. Thank you, Evan, as always, for being here. Anything before we sign off tonight?
Good to be here. Do you think Jack Foster hates Mondays? Does he like lasagna?
I think he loves lasagna, and I think he definitely hates Mondays. And I think that it's gonna be revealed that the Whispering Shadow is Nermal, and Nermal killed his brother, and it'll all make sense. But you'll be able to find out next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. So until then, sweet screams, everybody.
And to all, a good fright.